like demons.
My master. Safe. The scriptures. Sound. All I ever wanted was a life in my mountain, free from you and your so-called merits. Those high above don't trust me. I understand that. And they send you and those knuckleheads to threaten me. To obey and serve once more. I understand that too. But what I don't understand is... you bastards killing my kind!
Hi Nova. Not trash. Yeah man, feeling rich. Did you play this game already?
Stay back! Stupid dog!
Wait, isn't the dog your team?
Mark this. He's not just any monkey. He's a monkey of merit. A monkey was made Buddha once. None other than me can challenge him to a duel. Look, monkey. I don't make a habit of fighting someone I've bested before. Here's my offer. If you lose, I'll take you to the Celestial
Who is
Court.
this, Langsen?
They will stay and level your mountain.
English subs.
But if I lose, I shall certainly take
Should I put
revenge,
Chinese?
and they will level your mountain nonetheless. How tragic would that be, huh? You are one of the court. We don't need to resort to violence. How about you bend the knees, admit the wrongs, and we can put this behind us.
All these years, except for that pig, you're the one who talks the tallest tales. Good, I am entertained. Speaking of entertainment, wouldn't it be fun if I pluck your extra eye out for my snack and allow you to keep the other two? Because I'd hate to let you miss how I'll slaughter each mongrel of the court. Those below, those above, and that black mutt of yours. Come at me, all of you.
Oh, is it time to fight?
They gave
Lock on target. Middle mouse button.
You spurned each one.
Left click light attack. Space to... wait, I got a controller. Wait. Wait. Are they gonna give me a... Chotomate. What did I miss? Jump is A. B is dodge. Y is heavy attack. Where is light attack? X is light attack. Okay. Haya use controller. Hey, Baker. Yo. Sup. How are you doing? X is light attack also. So why did it show me a computer keyboard? X. Easy game. Okay, okay, let's try. Let's practice some rolling. Okay. A is jump. Let's not venture too far. Let's. Let's see. What's Y for heavy attack? What is Y? That's a very long delay.
That's all.
Oi! 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 Oh!
I just can't bear your...
Did I just get wrecked, or is it part of the cutscene? Oh! Wait, I'm not gonna die to tutorial, right? Wait, I don't even have a health bar. I don't need to be worried. Wait, what? He left?
The victorious fighting Buddha. Have you any idea how many would give their everything for immortality?
Immortality? For that word, all realms and beings have ruined themselves.
Oh, more tutorial? What is right trigger? Rock. Ouch, ouch.
Yao Guai
Or not?
Your escape.
Why? Rock solid. Oh, wait, what? I became a rock.
Defiance.
Immobilize? What, immobilize him? Plug of many? Oh, that's cute, that's cute, that's cute, that's cute. Rock solid. Where am I? Where am I? Where am I? Which one is me? Oh, rock solid. It's like petrify, but you petrify yourself. Oh. What, immobilize him? I think I'm more of a light attack person. Bam! Bam! Oh, we ouch! Rock solid.
The Celestial Court welcomed you, foul monkey, yet you remain untamed. None shall save you now.
Dear brother.
This streamer confirm never play enough Sun.
Good.
Never.
I was in need of a back scratcher.
This one, plug of many, right? Hey, oh, long cooldown. Let's see. Oh, I cannot run. Oh, what the shit? Rock solid. Oh. Bam! Oh, you see? He dodged. Block of many. Immobilize. Oh. Get wrecked. Oh, ouch. Ooh, ouch. Can I? Okay. Oh, ouch. Cutscene. Oh, I wonder if I can extend my stick in game. Oh, petrify. Was that a hit? No, right? Oh, split a mountain.
Rat! You call that a duel? The glare up here is dazzling. Fight me in the woods if you have the guts.
Oh, so I'm running. Oh, wait, I became a bird. Oh, he became a bird too? The ship?
And so ends the last tale of Sun Wukong. A hero
Ends the last
who
tale?
treasured his freedom above all else. Buddhahood he attained, yes, but cumbersome he found the celestial rules, for he yearned to come back and to revel in the simple joys with us. Little did he know, his choice to forgo the life above only fueled their mistrust.
Wait, what? He became back into a rock? He was born from a rock, right?
This stone has stood for countless days on the mountain. Since my youth, they've said that his remains lie within it. Unbegotten, undying, such is the nature of a stone monkey. Though his body was broken, his spirit endures. Into 6 relics he turned, and separately they escaped, choosing to stay hidden. Those are the 6 senses of the great sage. Yet no one has ever seen them, not in centuries. I'm old now. Venture through all the lands I cannot.
See Yoda?
Yet among you, there might be one who is destined. One that shall recover all his scattered relics. And upon the return of the relics to Mount Tuaguo, he may yet rise again.
Wukong? Home is behind. The old monkey has told his tale. Onward you must go. I guess you don't see it. Got a Steam achievement. 第一回 I cannot read. 火 something. Hey something.
On the go, bend the toe, life of human or for gold. Oh, nowhere better than a home. Reach death and ever grow. Huh? Here, you see,
What bliss my fate shows.
Luck's around the corner. Seems like you just fell from a fruit tree here.
Perfect timing. This peach knew I needed a snack. You sneaky rascal! Dare fool me? I'll make sure you regret it.
Why so many people got this stick? Lock on target. Rotate the camera to switch target while locked on. Oh wait, another one is dead already. Portrait updated. New lesser Yao Guai antidote. What?
Still as mischievous as ever, eh?
Right button to sprint. What was this? Gather.
Said something about the man yesterday. You be the one.
What? Perform heavy attack. Bam. Bam. Missed. Bam. Okay. I'm more of a mouse and keyboard player though. But they recommended using controllers, so sure. Left or right? I see there's an enemy on the left and this treasure chest. What's this? Charged heavy attack. Hold Y to charge and build up focus. Hold heavy attack to charge, charging cost stamina but quickly builds up focus. If I keep holding, my stamina continues to drop, but my focus doesn't increase anymore. Oh shit! Oh, I ran out of stamina. Let's restore some stamina. Get some focus. Nice. Oh, who? Where? What? Oh, there we go. Damn. Hold to view? Hold what? I don't know what to hold, but... Right trigger to open. Right trigger is this one. Tiny piece of gold, okay. There is a dotted line. I assume I follow the dotted line. Is that a save point?
Oh, what you waiting for? Pluck your hair and make an offer.
Joystick? Your hair can be a joystick? And what, Sakura comes out?
Hey, wait! I, the keeper of Blackwind Mountain, have long been waiting for your arrival. Oh, his spitting image, I'd say. Up ahead is Guan Yin Temple. Once it was bustling with worshippers, before it was ruined by that fire. Then the temple was rebuilt. Oh, what good is it to rebuild a temple if the goodwill of men has been burnt to ashes? You've forgotten this place, but they haven't forgotten you. It's a tough one. Good luck to you.
Incense Trail Talisman, special item. Oh, I press the start button and I got into this. What's this number held? Use this talisman. Using this talisman shall immediately free the soul from the body and guide it back to the last keeper shred. Sort of go back to the save point, right? Doesn't matter. Let's go. One hit, okay. One hit, okay. How to view that thing? Portrait? What's this? Self-advance? Abilities? Stance? Acquire new stance, refine mastery, focus better, enhance your vigor, solidify your foundation, strengthen your flexibility. Inventory. Tiny piece of gold, yarn, stone spirit. Craft weapons. This one is craft armor. Guess you can trade. What's this? Coconut wine. Receive maximum health. Ginseng. Used to make medicine. Journal. Lesser Yao Guai. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Settings. Okay. Let's move on. Forest of Wolves. Come on, bro. Everyone still dies to charge attack. Come on, bro. Okay. Sparks. Became 1. I guess I leveled up. Right trigger. I heard a drum roll. I assume they are enemies. No? Oh, there we go.
Your face looks familiar.
One hit. Okay. There's a big guy on the right. Let's take the small guy on the left first. Is that doesn't look like an enemy? He left. What did he leave behind? What's this? It's a hit. I can gather a hit. Skanda of Form. Key item. Let's take a look at that. Man shrinks at odor, but smiles at beauty, which is only natural. Once hidden inside the Buddha's head, this treasure has a secret yet to be revealed. I guess you're not gonna reveal to me. There's a crack. Okay, sure. There's a mushroom together. The mushrooms are together. You get the pun? Guess he jumped off. Let's chase, I guess. Oh, I cannot. How about from here? I guess not. Okay, I am lost. No, it's this way. Let's say a rabbit. Can I chase a rabbit? I guess not. Okay, there's a bad guy here. So... Oh, I wanted to go behind him, but guess he saw me. Let's try hiding. Is he gonna split the rock? Ooh, okay. Punch, dodge. Ouch. Let's charge. Oh, I did something. Ooh, ouch. Dodge. Oops. Keep going. Ooh, I got caught. No, it's a cutscene.
It's been a while, but the immobilize spell still works like a charm. Since you hail from Mount Huagro, it won't hurt to teach you a handy trick. Now, here we go. Give me your hand.
Immobilize. Simple hand gesture can bind enemy in place. Sure.
There you go. Should you come across any miscreants, just point your finger at them and release this spell. You'll be able to hold them in place while giving yourself a breather. Sadly, mine is but a humble trick. Its power will wear off within a few short moments. Though it's good enough against boneheads like this one. Anyway, just consider it an ace up your sleeve.
Ooh.
The young boys these days know no manners. Fear not. Teach them a lesson with your new spell.
Press. Alright, next. Oh, bam. Okay. My health is getting a bit low, but... Oh! I'm spinning attack. Left mouse button. Oh, what's this one? Oh, wait, what? I have a potion? Guess I should move my self away from my health. Let's move myself here. Is it better? Okay, let's move on. Did I miss anything? Gather? Oh wait, what? Self-advance and sparks. Open self-advance to awaken talents. Level up to gain sparks. And awaken more abilities and spells. Sparks will not be lost upon resurrection. Sure. Oh wait, what? Left part. Okay. Abilities. Seek guidance from the deities. Better to steer your own path. Chanting scripture and better. Confirm. What's this? Stamina. Each talent moderately reduces the stamina cost of sprinting. Each talent moderately reduces the stamina cost of dodging. Okay. Each level significantly increases the engage distance of, like, attack. Starter. Moving forward or using staff spin initiates mobile spin. Okay. The Destined One spins his staff around his body, deflecting projectiles. Increase maximum health, increase maximum stamina. I guess let's start with dodging. Let's see. Okay, let's go to the last one and see which one is exciting. Each talent considerably increases stamina recovery rate when health is above half. Perfect dodges leaves an illusion in your wake which explodes instantly, dealing damage to nearby enemies. Okay. The stamina is depleted, a weaker light measure can still be performed. Okay. Massively increases focus gain from successful hits with mobile spin. Okay. Deep breath. Let's go with dodges, I guess. Let's go with this. Oh, to awaken. Okay. What's this? Acceleration. Signally increase the health recovery upon consuming a focus point. How do you consume a focus point? Enable sprinting while charging. Oh, that's good. I want this. Performing heavy attack during a light attack combo with a focus point consumed allows Destined One to execute resolute strike. Okay, during resolute strike, the Destined One can see through the incoming and nullify the damage. Oh, that's good. That is good. Okay, and what's this? Increase damage dealt to immobilize enemy. Sure. This pillar stance, allow one to support himself. Okay, avoiding ground attacks. I think this is important in the future to avoid things. Trust stance, charge. Okay. Let's start with charging. Sure. I think I read enough. Just take a look at these. Yao Guai Chief. Full guard. Sure. Let's move on. There's a bad guy. Any more?
There really is someone.
Together. Bad guy. Touch. Wait, what? Did he explode? Okay. Oh shit. Can I get poison? Ouch. Okay. Recover health. Guess there is nothing here. Is the water poison? Or did I just get poisoned by that guy just now? Am I lost? Do I climb up the broken tree branch? Like this one? No. Is this a cave? No. To this path? Wait, right trigger, right? Okay. Is this a safe point? Oh, it doesn't mean anything? Okay. Let's heal. Is that a bad guy?
Be smarter.
Okay. Meditate? Sure. He put the earpods back. Oh, wait, what? Oh, you get... What do you call this? You get points just for by meditating? Nice. Okay, let's move on. What's this? Bell? Forest of Wolves outside the forest fully restores your condition and replenish your god. Enemies will also respawn. Set spells, reignite the sparks. Reallocate the sparks from awakened talent. That's cool. Store. Spell wheel to acquire. Oh, it's not the storage store, but more of a shop store. Let's rest. Store, buy. Evil repelling medicament. Upon use, consider increased damage reduction for a long duration. It's quite good. Body cooling powder. Instantly remove burn state and significantly increases burn resistance for stock. Oh, that's good also. Remove poison. It's $270. I have 940. Okay. This one is to craft armor, craft weapon. This. Sure. Don't need them for now, right? Set spell. I don't have much to set. Reignite the sparks. I have one more for free, right? X to reignite the sparks. A to confirm. X to reclaim sparks. B to reclaim. Wait, what's the difference? Oh, okay, okay.
Hey, wait! You don't think you can just parade in, do you? It's not that simple. Let me transform you into a golden cicada so you may follow the fires ahead and scout this mountain unnoticed. Fly! It might be humble, but my shrine is very versatile. You'll get it soon.
Right, D
In the depths
transform.
of Black Wind Mountain, there are secrets galore. The cicada form may help you explore, but be wary. This form does not last forever.
Wonder if there's
Should you
anything
find
left
yourself
inside.
lost, just follow my voice. Now, off you go.
Where is your voice? Can I gather this? I guess not. He's praying. That guy.
The rest of the pack are worthless.
How far am I supposed to go? Did I just skip this part?
Who goes there? How dare you? My meditation.
Is that like the boss? Maybe I don't interrupt your meditation? Oh my god.
Drop your weapon, and maybe I can spare
Oh, I pressed the wrong button too. Sure. Let's just fight the boss, I guess. What's the worst that can happen? Maybe let me... I have one skill, right? Which is... Let's get this one. Consuming a focal point. Wait. Increases health recovery. I'm not sure what's this, but... Sure, let's get this. Let's just go. Let's try. Boss fight. Hello?
Another monkey, I see. Why don't you lay down your weapon and join me in Buddha's mercy? What say you?
What say you? Ooh. Ooh, ouch. Ouch. It's... Ooh, ouch. Stall. Bam. Where's my immobilize? Stall. Bam. Ooh, missed. Bam. Oh, roll. Oh, some ulti. Oh, ouch, that was a direct hit. Oh, I burned to death. Forgot. What's this? 4 Bane's resistance. Resistant to the blah. Reducing damage. Okay. Travel to instantly travel to any Keeper Shrine where the incense has already been offered. Take a rest. I'm at Forest of Wolves. Can I become a cicada again? I guess not. Okay. Want to do some dodge thing. Makes initial dodge more agile and flexible. Interesting. Let's try that. Oh, you can level up immobilization. 1. Okay, 1 light attack cannot do... Wait, what? What happened? Cannot make the heavy attack. What? 2 light attack also cannot make heavy attack. So 1, 2. Wait, 1, 2, 3. No, I guess not. Is that a bad guy? That's not somewhere I want to go. Who, where, what? Okay. Yeah? Okay. Not bad. What? Yeah. What am I doing? No, I blink. Yeah. Not sure. Yeah, I guess so.
I thought you were watching show.
No lah. This seems like a different path. Where's the boss? I'm supposed to hit that. Apparently this is not Wukong though. Oh, what? I just like some. Ooh, oh. Okay, over here. Ooh, oh. It's okay. A potion. 1 ink temper. Oh, I missed the boss fight already.
Shh, keep quiet. You don't want to set off that beast. In the backyard is Blackwind Guai's ally, calls itself Ling Shutsa. Considering your strength, I suggest you get away while you can, little monkey.
Can craft armor. What's this? Pilgrim headband defense. Allows using the god while sprinting. Okay. Anyway, this is the only thing I can craft, right? Or is there other? Oh, there is. There's chest piece. I guess start with this. Equip? Sure. Oh wait, but yes. I already had a armor, but sure. If I crafted the headband, then get the full bonus. Craft armor, not enough yarn and wheel. Let's go. Destroying all the things in Guanyin Temple.
Once you pass that gate, there's no turning back.
Seems like a boss fight. Always on. How to read? Oh! Oh, ouch. Oh no, no stamina. Ooh, ouch. Ooh, that reached me. Ooh, ouch, ouch. Ouch, I'm dead. Okay. Oh, wait, he's still there? I assume full health? Oh, yo. What the? Ouch. Ooh. Okay. Ooh. I can't hit. Cannot hit anything. Ooh, ouch. How did that still hit? I tried to immobilize. And it's not on cooldown and I didn't even use it. Is there a stagger? Oh. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. Okay. Getting closer. I think boss fight is still better to use light attack. What's that though? I don't know what is that. Raw? No stamina. rest a little bit, okay. Okay, he jumped up. Ouch. You guys see licking his hand in front of me? Ooh! Okay, heal. We jump up again. Ooh, yo. Is that stagger? Oh. Oh, yo. Finishing? Okay, not that tough. GG. Oh, got a mask.
Now that it's dead, you might as well take a good look around. A great pill the Blackwing Guai had gifted the wolf. Fire would be a deserving reward for that fight.
Take a look around. Wait, I can't go in. Let's comb the temple. Jump. I cannot jump that high. A box of treasure. There's not what I'm looking for, but mask 10. Inflict more damage on enemies at critical health. Don't really think I want to go to critical health, but sure. How about the other side? Was there any treasure? Can I open this door? I cannot open this door. Is that not a shortcut to go out? Okay, I cannot go any further than this. Sure, let's go into the temple, I guess. Cheap? Hey, hi Mao. Cheap? Why cheap? What's cheap? Celestial Jade Lotus Pill, Celestial Medicine. A miraculous pill concocted by the god of longevity in the southernmost reaches of the land that massively increases maximum health. Sure. Oh, I don't even need to consume. It increases it automatically. Wow, Black Wukong. Yeah, man. Hi, Leon. Ghost. Bye. Bye. Thanks for dropping by. Long time no see. Do you buy this game? But well. I'm about to end stream too. Okay, guys. Thank you guys for coming. My birthday has ended. Thank you guys for coming. It has been a good first hour of this game. I look forward to playing more of this. Good night, sweet dreams, everyone. See ya next time. Bye bye. Wait, I need to go to a safe house, right? I know I said bye, but oh, there. There's a safe point over here. I assume this is saved. Maybe I press rest to confirm. Okay, guys. I saved my game. Good night, sweet dreams, everyone. See you guys next time. Leave. Bye. Wait, leave doesn't mean end stream. Oh, leave only leaves the... It doesn't leave the game, but... Okay, bye. Good night.